A backwards force will cause an object to decrease in speed.
A constant forward force will cause an object to increase in speed.
So,
During a quick push, an object will increase in speed.
after the push is over, an object will stay constant in speed.
And an object will have constant motion if its forces are balanced. So we're going to start talking about force arrows. So a force arrow is when the force is exerted by the source on the receiver. So basically that's what a force arrow shows.
When you're drawing force arrows, the direction of the arrow shows the direction of the force that is acting. Yeah.
So, and also the length of the arrow represents the strength of the force. So, like, the longer the arrow, the more force. The shorter the arrow, the less force.
The force arrow's tail should exert in the center of the object. So, like, whenever you're drawing an object, make sure it's in the center, and then just draw the arrow from that dot in the center.
This is a diagram of balanced and unbalanced forces.
Now we're going to talk about how a constant forward force motion affects motion. So it increases the speed of the object.
The strength of the force arrow is determined by the length of the force arrow.
If there are no forces being exerted on an object, the object will have constant motion.
When the surface that the object is on has less friction, the object will speed up.
And if you let go of the puck after you push it, it will have constant motion because there's no forces being exerted on it and the field is frictionless.
When the object is not interacting with other people or objects, it will have a constant speed.
So we're going to be doing Newton's trace laws of motion. So his first law is an object at rest stays in rest, and an object in motion stays in motion unless an outside force is exerted upon it.
For the second law, the acceleration of an object is directly proportional to the net force and inversely proportional to the mass. This means the more mass an object has, the more force the object needs to have acceleration.
Newton's third law of motion is for every reaction, there is an equal and opposite reaction.
Force in motion will slow an object down.
Friction is a force resulting from two interacting objects in contact with each other, and it is always a backwards force.
This is a diagram of a backwards force.
A backwards force will cause an object to decrease in speed.
A constant forward force will cause an object to increase in speed.
If an object is decreasing in speed, that means the forces are unbalanced or in the opposite direction.
Balanced forces will have a constant motion.
When an object is moving and traveling in the path of its motion, and then another force hits it, that'll affect the direction of the object's motion.
This is an example of forces exerted on balls going around a hoop. What will happen when the ball makes a complete rotation around the hoop and either does or doesn't leave the hoop? Is it A? Is it B? Is it C? Or is it D? What about E? Or maybe even F? Or is it none of the above? It wasn't A. And it wasn't B. It also wasn't D. And it wasn't E. It could have been F, but it definitely wasn't. The answer turned out to be C. Now it's time for a recap.
Yes. The essential question was, how do forces affect motion?
While gliding on a cushion of air, the air puck has constant motion.
The direction of the arrow shows the direction that the force is acting. The length of the force arrow represents the strength of the force. The force arrow's tail should start in the center of the object.
How does a constant forward force affect motion? It increases the speed of an object.
What kind of motion does an object have if there are no interactions affecting the motion of the object? It will have constant motion.
So the first law of the first Newton's law is an object at rest stays in rest, and an object in motion stays in motion unless an outside force is exerted upon it.
Newton's second law is the acceleration of an object is directly proportional to the net force and inversely proportional to the mass. This means the more mass an object has, the more force an object needs to have acceleration. Force equals mass times acceleration.
The third law is, for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction.
How does a backwards force affect motion? It slows the object down.
What is friction? A force resulting from two interacting objects in contact with each other and moving related to each other, always backwards.
Yes, they are always a backwards force, friction is. What is given to an object during an interaction and stays with the object after the interaction is over? Energy.
A quick push equals an increase in speed.
When that quick push is over, it has constant speed. Thanks
For watching our video, y'all.
Thick boy!